Hey, this is Seth with In-Demand Career. I show people how to get life-changing jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And that includes my very special guest today, Juan, who was working for FedEx and doing restaurant jobs and then had to work as a shipping manager, doing manual labor for many years and could not even break up to the 50K mark. He needed a career change. So he took my course, he hustled very hard, and within a few months, he was able to get his first SEO manager job, making $55,000 a year in his entry-level role. That is more than he has ever made before. He actually moved for this job, and he's very excited about his new career, and I'm excited to share his story with you. Thanks for being here, Juan.
Thank you for having me, Seth. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Excited to talk to you. So why don't you tell people about your current job that you're doing
Mhm.
right now?
So I am a marketing manager for a tax firm. Most of my responsibilities entail a lot of adjustments to the website, rebuilding pages as needed, working on the website, SEO, creating blog posts and event pages. I'm also doing social media marketing, where I'm learning how to market the business on LinkedIn, which I will actually be getting training here in the next couple or in the next week or so. So,
Awesome, man. And, uh, what are you making at this job?
55,000 a year, plus bonuses at the end of the year.
That's great. And how does it feel to be making that salary in this position?
It's really awesome. I didn't actually think I was ever going to get to, something even over 50K. So.
That's fantastic. And how do you like what you're doing compared to what you were doing in your previous job?
It is like night and day, I swear. There's definitely a lot more freedom, um, definitely a lot more understanding too. So, and a lot more rewarding, I would say too. Because it's nice to be able to complete a task for the business, and they're so excited, and they're like, "Wow, you did such an amazing job," rather than the previous places where they're just like, "Yeah, that was expected of you." So, definitely a lot more uplifting.
That's great, man. We're going to get more into that in a second because it's
Mhm.
obviously made a huge career change. But people, of course, they want to know is, how did you get here from where you were, especially having no college degree? So why don't you tell people a little bit about like what was happening in your life? Where were you living? What was going on when you first started to look into a career change into digital marketing and you found my course?
Yeah, so my wife and I actually moved from South Dakota here to Atlanta, which is a pretty big move. At the time, I was looking into getting into a better, more rewarding career because I didn't think I was actually going to scratch that like 50K, let alone 55,000 a year. I thought it was going to take me another 6 to 7 years to even, get close to that. So I wanted to do something to better myself and to have a more rewarding career. So I did do a lot of research on digital marketing because I knew that was an option, especially since I did a lot of my own like drop shipping and print on demand businesses. I knew there was like a demand for that. So I was actually looking into getting into the digital marketing field. And my previous company actually were going to offer to pay for college if I went to college while I was working there. And I decided I didn't want to do that because I don't want to waste the time and money to do that. And I went on YouTube and on Google and researched digital marketing. I came across, I believe his name was Shane, his YouTube channel, and he talked about your course. So I decided to look up your course and do my own research after looking at the other testimonials and connecting to the other students on LinkedIn and asking them, their experiences and everything and how they got to where they got to. And then after that, that's when I decided that I want to do the course. So.
That's great, man. And I'm just curious, you mentioned you did some drop shipping and
Mhm.
print on demand in the past. Like, just briefly, like, most people who come into the course have never even heard of digital marketing. And sounds like you
Yeah.
had a little bit of experience, but did you make any money with it? Was it, did you enjoy it? Was it just kind of on the side?
So I actually started back in high school with drop shipping. I didn't make any money in the first 2 years. A little after that, I got more into like the print on demand. I did actually make some money. Most of my ventures, I've broken even. Um, I did come on top though with um, FBA, so fulfilled by Amazon. A lot of I did that, but back in 2019 when the whole world was kind of coming to a stop,
Mm.
unfortunately couldn't go forward with that. So I just kind of was stuck, at my other jobs, the FedEx job. So
Right. That's very common, guys. And people ask me a lot, and why do I push, or why do I, share enthusiastically about digital marketing skills? Is that these guys who are saying you're going to make all this money in drop shipping or FBA or things like that, they gloss over the reality of the fact that it takes a long time. You may just lose money. It depends on the niche. It depends on the market. You are competing with so many other people. There's a lot more to it. So I think I've had other students who have kind of done that. It's like, yeah, you got into it, you saw the potential, but you weren't able to make any money. And I didn't make any money in the beginning when I tried to do affiliate marketing, all these other things. It was my job that gave me the financial foundation that I was able to use to then build more stuff. So I'm happy that got this job that pays more than you've made before.
yeah,
And if you decide to go back into those things, you have a foundation to do it.
yeah.
So that said, so let's say you got the course. And so what was it like, learning the skill set while you were working your job, and how did you progress from learning the skills to, getting this job?
Um, so at first it was a little bit challenging, just because, having to work full time, and then also trying to do the course on top of that. Um, but what I found that really helped me, was actually listening and going through the course while I was working, wearing my Bluetooth, and then going home at the end of the day and just doing like a summary of like what I heard that day with the course. And I actually did the payment plan. So I did it over the course of 3 months. And after those 3 months, um, I did what you told. I went through the entire course, and then afterwards is when the second time around, that's when I started to try to generate my own experience. So right after I was starting the second round, I actually went and got a nonprofit uh, a nonprofit opportunity where I was running their Google ad grant, which was it was really fun actually. I I had actually had a lot of joy doing it, like doing all the research, putting everything together, and then being able to, come through and like provide a skill set to a nonprofit, and for them to be able to like generate some actual like income was awesome. Like that was a great feeling. Um,
That's pretty
and then
amazing. I'm gonna
yeah,
just stop you for a second because I want to talk about that. And by the way, what was the nonprofit? What kind of nonprofit?
so it had a lot to do with paleontology and earth science. Um, so that was actually really cool for me because I am really into dinosaurs. And I actually want to
Oh,
go. I actually want to go do like go dig for dinosaurs myself. So it was actually really
that's
cool.
That's so cool, man. And that's an aspect. We talk a lot about the money, but again, there is a certain intellectual reward that people
Hmm.
get from the research, the kind of detective work you have to do to find out about the right market, the right way to position. Working for a
Hmm.
nonprofit is one of the things that I suggest to my students, because they get these grants from Google. So you have $10,000 to work with, and it can be fulfilling to be able to help these nonprofits don't know anything about digital marketing,
Right.
and then you come in and help them out. So that was part of. So you generated your experience, and it sounds like you're having fun in paid search. But your current job is more in SEO. So like, how
Yep.
how did this all happen? How did you move from PPC over into the SEO side of things?
So after I did the nonprofit, I did have to take a couple months off just because, I had some personal things going on, and with my wife's health declining for for a few months. Um, and then at work having to take our entire warehouse and move it to a different location. I actually took like 3 months off or so. But after that, I had a part-time opportunity come my way, um, for a guy down in Florida. And he wanted help for website design and for SEO. Um, I didn't really have a lot of experience in that, but trying to attend the calls from the coaches, and also talking in a Discord as well with people, trying to get some like ideas and partaking in those calls, so I can kind of get my head around SEO and website design. I'm actually still working for that guy part-time. So on top of my full-time right now, after work, I'm doing a little bit of work for him as well. And that actually helped me generate a little bit more confidence to get this current position that I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I like to teach people both PPC and SEO, because you have so
Yeah.
many options. Um, and are you still just volunteering for him, or is he paying you?
Oh no, so that's an actual like paid position. I
Yeah.
get paid per project, so and the projects usually take like a week or so. So I'm getting paid by a weekly basis. So
That's
which
great.
is
And that's
awesome.
on top of your 55K.
And I also have another client as well, my wife's aunt. I do some work for her website as well on top of that. So
That's really great. See, guys, the interesting thing is, I said, when you're freelancing or when you're getting your own clients within this field, it's like obviously you do have to hustle, but it's easier to sell this kind of service than, I don't know, being a personal trainer or some other type of thing. Because these companies
right.
need help with their online presence or their SEO. So that's awesome. So you were working, you were working for this guy. And so how did you end up getting this job? Like what was the application process like, and the interview and all that?
So this is actually kind of like a funny story. Um, so back in December, when we're in the middle of moving the warehouse and stuff, I actually get a call from my wife saying that her aunt that's here in Atlanta was actually looking for someone to fill a position for their company, and I didn't know what it was for. It sounded more it was more of like a admin role. Had to do a lot more with like technical stuff too. But I told them like, yeah, maybe I'm open to it. We could see if we could work something out. Um, I didn't hear from them for like a month or so, and I was also really busy. And I think it back at like in February or so, I actually hopped on a call with her and two other people, and we did about half an hour interview, um, which I think went pretty well. But again, I didn't actually know what the position was going to be for. I was just interviewing for a position for them. And then my wife and I did a anniversary trip down to here in Atlanta. And we actually did that like a month and a half ago or so. And I had met up with her again for brunch. And she invited me back to the office the day I was going to fly out on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, around 1 o'clock or so, I went in for an interview, and I actually interviewed with her, which she is the director of operations, the CEO, and I was interviewing with another lady as well. I forgot what her title was. But basically, for about an hour and a half, it was just me just yammering away about all of my experiences in the marketing space with PPC, SEO, website design, creating blogs and all that stuff. And it was kind of funny because it wasn't me asking them questions. It was just them asking me questions because I was just talking for an hour and a half and telling them like, so I actually did my research on your website. There's a lot of things you could change, a lot of things that, needs updating. Like you have stuff on here that was from like 2022. Like, what's the plan for this year? Like any more events, upcoming events? Like this is stuff that's going to help you in Google's algorithm. Like just updates this stuff. And um afterwards um I left to go out to eat with my wife's cousin and them. And I think it was like 2 hours afterwards. And I get an email. And I'm like, okay, it's from her aunt, the director of operations. And she said that it was an offer letter and that they would like to bring me on, that they really liked me so much that they would like to bring me onto the team. And I remember I couldn't accept it. Like it didn't feel real. And it even now it still doesn't feel too like I know it's real. Like I've been doing this job for, close to a month, but it still feels unreal. Like there's times where I still wake up and I'm like, man, I'm here. Like I'm here doing this job. It's awesome. Like, and I like doing it too, which is even better. So
That's awesome, man. That's really great story. Yeah. I think it's funny you didn't even actually know. But what you did in the interview is what I teach my students to do. It's like you didn't overthink anything. You're just geeking out.
Right.
Sounds like
Right.
nerding out, probably just lost track of time talking about
Oh,
this website. You look up. I remember Nick Battles, the PPC coach, talking about in his first interview. He said he felt like he kind of left his body because he's just
yeah.
you kind of start talking about all this cool stuff that you think is
Right.
exciting there. And it's really cool. And especially in a private company, some kind of financial firm or accounting firm, they don't know much about marketing, but they know they need
Right.
help. And when they see your passion and they hear you talking about technically about all this stuff, it's a cool feeling because now you're the expert
Right.
and they're listening to you and what you have to say. And and that's also quite rewarding. I had a similar experience when I worked at an in-house company. So now tell people this is a unique situation.
Mhm.
So you guys actually moved, right? Like, what was
Yes.
that decision like? Was there any discussion, or were you just like, no, we're moving?
So it was basically like, no, we're moving. And the big thing too was that like my wife a few years ago, she came down here to visit her cousin, um, and to kind of stay for like a month or so. And she was doing some background acting, which she got into a couple of shows in the background. It's kind of cool. You're actually able to see her in like a couple of episodes. Um, and she just loved it out here. And I myself wanted to move out of South Dakota as well for couple years because the past snowstorms that we've had in South Dakota was bad. Like my wife and I were snowed in 2, 3 days. Even earlier this year, we were snowed in for a couple days, and it was horrible. So I'm like, we really got to get down south.
Mm.
Um, and when this opportunity came, my wife and I were like, "Holy crap, is this happening? Like this is actually happening." And then we started looking into, how much it would be to, get a moving truck and all this other stuff. And we're like, you know what, we're gonna do it. We have to do it because it feels like it's a one in a lifetime opportunity, which I am definitely on, cloud nine right now because I think like a week and a half later, my wife actually found a job too, just like that right away with one of the biggest, or I think it's the number one ranked company in the world for like property management or something like that.
Mm.
Um, because right now she's a leasing agent, and uh, it just feels like it just keeps going up. Like I still can't believe all of this stuff is real. It's really crazy to me.
That's awesome, man. Wow. Yeah, you seem really enthusiastic in the
Yeah,
messages. I can see it on your face, and I'm very happy for you. And it's real. That's why I love sharing this
right.
with people. You're not like, it's not some like opportunity thing. It's like, no, these are real companies. The company you're working for, what they do, wouldn't you say accounting?
So yeah, they actually do a lot of taxes. Um, so it's definitely more a tax company, which is actually another benefit too. I don't have to worry about doing my taxes because they're going to do it all for me. So,
Another benefit, man. It's like this stuff just
right.
starts adding up. You have these clients on the side, you're making more than you made before. And you also
Yep.
said that this was interesting too, because I just did a video. I've been talking about cost of living and saving money a little bit. You said
Mhm.
that actually the South Dakota had become a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So your expenses are kind of the same living in Atlanta. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, especially after my wife got her job too, because we actually get a 20% discount, on our rent. So now we're paying, under what new apartments and newer townhomes go for and what they go for in South Dakota. So we actually moved and now we're saving money.
Wow. That's really fantastic, man. I would
Yeah.
have thought it's funny too because I have there's like a person I know who talks about this stuff, and he's always
Mhm.
pointing to South Dakota and some of the no income tax states, which although I mean, I guess from an income tax perspective, you're going to have that new expense, but
Right.
overall, I mean, it's not like a huge it's kind of an interesting thing that South Dakota and Atlanta would have similar expenses for you. But I think also the opportunity,
Mhm.
to move for the job. Most of my students we talk to are remote, but in this situation, I always tell people move for the job because this
Right.
is your first job. Sounds like the company loves you. You have, your
Mhm.
aunt works there. You're going to probably be there for a while. They're paying you,
Yeah.
you're happy with the pay. But once you get this, experience under your belt, then you will have more options. If you decide you do want to go remote, if you decide you want to change, you can do that.
And it's funny you say that because now I've actually had a few people reach out already. like, hey, are you open to, to an interview, for this opportunity? Because we looked at your profile and we thought you'd be a great fit. And, it's like, well, I just kind of got to this job. I don't know if I want to switch already. But,
That's
every week I've been getting messages like that. So
it's a great
it's
feeling,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, it is a really great feeling.
It's really nice to be wanted. It's
Yeah,
the biggest shift in having these skills. I always said, like, I mean, I felt invisible my whole when I got from the time I got out of college until I got these digital skills, I felt invisible. And then suddenly people are paying attention to you, you know?
right. That's
Um,
actually a good way to put it. I didn't even think about that because
yeah,
I think I felt the same way. And,
yeah,
just kind of going through the motions, not really like, oh boy, I get to get up and go do what I love to do. Now I actually get to do that.
yeah,
So it's really exciting.
yeah, man. And what was I gonna say? And also when you get these recruiters, just tell them like you're not looking for opportunities now, but like let's stay in touch
Yeah,
because who knows in a year, you know. And again, you shouldn't feel I tell them this to all my students. Remember, you're a free agent, it is business. You know, your
right.
aunt works there and these guys gave you a break. So it's okay to feel some loyalty
Mhm.
initially for 6 months or a year. But if you get a better opportunity, you know, you gotta take care of yourself, your wife, your family. That's your priority.
Right.
There's a place that's going to pay more, or something like that. But it sounds
Right.
like things couldn't be better right now. It sounds like you're very happy.
Yes. Yep. And they're actually really flexible too at this place. I actually had my knee was kind of hurting, a week ago or so. Because I had flare-ups at times. I was able to work, 4 days at home because it was, strenuous and it really hurt to work to walk on my knee. And like, yeah, that's fine. You can work from home, until it gets better. And I'm like, I would never have that at any other job, especially like at a warehouse job or something like that when I do something physical. It's like, no, you got to take PTO. Um, in which now I'm actually transitioning from having limited PTO to unlimited PTO. So now, you know, I could take up just as much time as I want. Obviously you can't take out a month or so, but if I need to leave, if I have something come up or something, even like with my knee, I didn't even need to take PTO out of that because they're so flexible. They're just like, yeah, work
Yeah,
from home, that's fine. I'm like,
that's really sounds like a good company, man. I mean, there are good
yeah,
companies out there, and they're accommodating like that, and they understand that you don't need to be there to do the job, and
right,
um, and that's fantastic. And I think that also means that this is the type of company where if you did decide you ever want to travel or move around more, you could do that. But it sounds
oh yeah,
like you just moved to this new place that you really like. Um,
yeah,
and I'm really happy for you because I've run into a couple other. I think I interviewed, was it Patrick? I think who works at a laundry. Somebody who has this really labor intensive job.
right,
It's really great that you can just not have to kind of stress your body out like that every day.
right.
um yeah, I'm curious. You said you're mostly doing SEO for them, right?
Mhm.
And that was like
And
the primary thing. And then you said you're going to be doing some LinkedIn. Now, are you going to be running ads on LinkedIn or our social media, or are you just going to be posting stuff?
both.
Okay.
So it definitely is going to be a lot of posting too on LinkedIn and on Facebook, just because they're definitely a business to business because they want to bring in more you know more like business clients,
Yeah.
people who actually have bigger businesses and stuff like that. So I think LinkedIn is a pretty good place for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's funny because I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this when it comes to social media posting. I don't know because I mean, obviously, I don't train people in that because that typically is not the main skill set that's going to get you this kind of pay.
right.
But you'll be using ads because,
Mhm.
especially B2B on Facebook, it's like if you're just posting stuff on a Facebook page that doesn't have any they really make you it's pay to play,
Right.
and LinkedIn is a better place because you can identify business owners easier to target them, and you will still have to use ads to actually get that visibility.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like you're expanding your skill set and you're getting trained, and it's just, it sounds like you're just going to have more and more options into the future. And how's your wife doing, and how does she feel about all this?
she she's the same way as me. I mean, she wakes up sometimes in the morning, especially like on the weekends, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're here. Like we're actually here. We finally made it happen. And it feels great too, because now we actually have a lot of things to do. That is one thing about South Dakota. It definitely has its places where like, it's really beautiful and stuff, and it's nice to spend some time out there. But there's not a lot of things to do, especially the city that we were living in, Sioux Falls.
Hmm.
Which I do think I there was a student out there that I
Hi.
connected with us. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say it was a Cayenne, right? But yeah, he was also from Sioux Falls too. And yeah, there's definitely not a lot of things to do there. So to be here and be like, oh, what can we do? Oh, there's like 1,000 different things. And now that I'm making more money, now we have more, money to play with too. Obviously we're putting money to, save and into retirement and stuff, but now I actually have more money to, do stuff with too.
That's great,
So
man.
it's
I'm happy to hear that. You should have some fun. Um,
yeah,
I think it's funny because me and my girlfriend I think everyone has their own taste, and I totally understand about not having much to do. Me and my girlfriend are
right,
so like boring. Like we love living in nature where there's nothing. We don't
right,
like all that activity, but it's not for everybody, you know. And I think having that off, like I love the fact that you're enjoying, you moved. I think even if what I tell people is like you move for a job. It's like
hmm,
people move for college all the time and they learn nothing and they go into debt. You're getting paid to learn and grow your career, and now you're in a stimulating city where you're saving money. It just sounds great.
yeah,
So I'm very happy for you, man. So yeah, I want to thank you for sharing your story with us. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but before I go, just a few things. First of all, can people reach out to you on LinkedIn if they have any questions?
yes. But do please, be patient with me because I do have a lot of people reaching out to me right now on LinkedIn, so it may take a little bit to get back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I always say that with these interviews is that my students are, a lot of people see the videos, so they're getting a lot of, people approaching them.
Right,
And you should be patient generally anyway on LinkedIn.
right,
It's nothing worse. I've had people do this, doesn't happen that often, but somebody messages or someone emails me professionally, or they're trying to get, they're asking me for something, information, and then they email me an hour later or 2 hours later. It's not a good look. So
right.
um, yeah, and then before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to say to me before we finish the interview?
To you specifically, yeah. I would like to thank you, for making this course. Because it has allowed this great opportunity. Sorry. Didn't think I was gonna get a little emotional, but it's definitely changed our lives for the better. So
You,
sorry.
it's all right, man. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
know.
But I would like to sincerely thank you for the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome, dude. I'm touched. I appreciate that. I really didn't expect that when we were messaging that
Yeah, I
big.
know. I don't know, it's just something kind of came over me because it's crazy, you
Yeah,
know. Because I'd still probably be at a dead end job or, definitely had a factory job, just going, through the motions instead of like trying to, live our lives, which I'm
yeah.
able to do now because of your course. And um, I'm definitely grateful for it. So, and the community as well. I think you've built a pretty great community as well. They're definitely very helpful and supportive. So,
Oh man, make me emotional.
sorry.
Well, it makes me feel good. I'm really happy. And, even though we're very 10,000 miles away, I can definitely
Right.
feel the warmth in your heart and, your appreciation. And I'm happy. So I'm excited to see what, just like enjoy your life, man. That's the most important thing. You have a great future, but enjoy your life now. And I
Yeah.
appreciate the acknowledgement. And then, is there anything you want to say to anybody watching the video or anybody thinking about taking the course?
Yeah, definitely take it. I'm glad I did. Yeah, it really changed my life and my wife's life, and I know it could change everyone else's life too. So,
That's fantastic, man. Well said. Well said. Thanks for sharing yourself here on the video, sharing your story. I'm sure it can resonate with a lot of people. Um, yeah, Yeah, I think you said it all. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, as I said, in your future. Let's definitely stay in touch, and we'll do a follow-up interview sometime down the road.
Yeah, sounds great to me.